Last night, I was making all the lights turn yellow. The intersections approached me in slow motion, and the buildings blurred. I stared up at the changing colored signals as I passed underneath. There were others around me, pedaling hard, heads down, eyes like mine, all going to the same place. Get to the bridge. I had been riding since the late evening, the time when the harsh, gold sunset makes it impossible to discern the yellow of a stoplight. My face was quiet like the rest of them, a blank mess hiding the worries of a solemn boy. I looked at the riders around me. I thought what they thought. Get to the bridge. The railing is broken. We hurried. Our panting breaths were the rhythm of the streets. The cars saw us coming, blocks before we reached them. They knew where we were going and pulled over to the side of the road to let us pass. They watched with an awesome sadness as we swooped by them, pushing our wind into their faces. They didn't understand us, why we did it, what we felt, why it mattered. But somehow they could tell that we had to, and so they let us go without protest or warning. Get to the bridge. The railing is broken. The rusty gap. We rode on. I slipped between the different people of the moving crowd. Silent faces and determined eyes. I could have spoken to them. I could have asked them if something really changes when the day turns to night, or if it's all the same, just a little darker. I could have told them that I love them, and that we could all turn around if we just decided to do it together. I could have broken that horrible mobile silence with a piercing scream. Any word, even just a sound. But I didn't. I had pulled my bicycle out of the garage that night and rolled it down the driveway when I heard they were coming. I had mounted the seat and pressed down on the pedals. I had fallen in step with the rolling masses, and now I was one of them until the end of the line. Get to the bridge. The railing is broken. The rusty gap. The water is calling. A silent sea of people on bicycles, flowing through the city like blood in the sink. We were moving quickly and soon we would reach the river. The city around us began to thin. The offices became apartments. The apartments became warehouses. The warehouses became empty lots. And then we saw the bridge. Get to the bridge. The railing is broken. The rusty gap. The water is calling. The long way home. It was just like I remembered it, even though I had never been there before. A hulking structure of crossed metal and worn time. I had read articles about it, about us, years ago in the city newspaper. The decommissioned bridge, the group of cyclists from all over the city who gathered erratically and without organization to ride to the bridge. The mass of silent riders who pedaled themselves through the small gap in the railing and over the edge without reason or worry. I had read about crushed bones, sunken frames, drowned lungs, and half-inflated tires turning up on distant shores. I had heard stories about the narrow gap, and about groups of people who had thought they could fit through it together at once. Torn limbs hanging from the rusty metal as the ambulances and helicopters arrived on the scene. I knew all of this, but still, I pedaled on. Get to the bridge. The railing is broken. The rusty gap. The water is calling. The long way home. The moment is now. We were on the bridge, our wheels bumping on the gravelly road. The sky was a pink blanket in a black and white movie. Someone broke the silence with their quiet tears. We rode, full speed ahead, our chins held high and our eyes shut tight. A steady line of dark figures, two abreast, streaming through the rusty gap. The sun was rising, and we were the dead night oil flowing through that daylight funnel.